43 stopping the vehicle Central and 40th Place. 13L30 is behind the unit.
Sit back and relax. Your group therapy session has started. Welcome to Alone and Unsupervised.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Alone Unsupervised Podcast. I'm Isaiah.
I'm Frank.
If you've been rolling with us this long, thank you.
Yes, with all of our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate all the support, everything, all the followings. We definitely appreciate it all.
Today, we're going to start off with session 7, and we're just kind of going to roll into some deployment stories. If you guys want to hear that.
Yeah.
So, Frank, what do you got for us?
So, as far as deployments, I have a half a dozen or so deployments under my belt. Spent a lot of time in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Jordan, Qatar. Did a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, I did 2 MUs. That's a Marine Expeditionary Unit. You can just do a quick Google on that instead of having me sit here and ramble and try to explain what that is. But I was in the Navy, but I kind of had a special role. I was a corpsman, which is, for layman's terms, it's a medic. But I was attached to an infantry battalion. So the Marine Corps is in the Department of the Navy, and they don't have their own medical personnel, so they use Navy corpsmen to supplement that. And I've been to a bunch of different countries. I think I added it up one day, and I think it was like 15, 16, or 17 different countries. And most of those were just going around training and doing cool stuff like that. And every now and then, they'd let us loose off the leash, if you will. But that was far and few in between when we actually had to do something cool. So.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually sat down and done the numbers of how many countries I've been to. I know that of my 22, 23 years in the military, I have spent a little over a decade in the Midlands. So
the only reason why I know the countries I've been to is one of the first Christmas presents I got from my wife. It was one of those maps that you can put up on the wall or whatever, and then it came with a little thing, and you can scratch off all the different countries. It was like a map of the world, and you can scratch off all the countries.
cool.
But I will say one of the coolest countries I've been to, it's called Seychelles. It's off the coast of Africa, right? It's like a sister chain of islands, if you will. It's 15 degrees north of the equator, so it was super hot. But it was my second MU. The skipper or the captain of the ship we were on, it was his last deployment, and then he was retiring. He had gone to Seychelles earlier in his career, and before he was done, he wanted to go back. So we went there because, it's his boat, and he decided where we go, right? So, so to speak. Anyway, he decided we were going back to Seychelles. Honestly, the island itself is kind of weird. They hate tourists, and it's rampant with HIV. But yeah. We were told not to go to certain bars because it's a locals only bar, and you will get the living crap beat out of you. We had Marines that tested that, and yeah, they got into fights. Some of them won, some of them didn't, but all got in trouble. But one of the memories I have of Seychelles is as soon as we got the boat and we're walking around, there's like a street vendor, if you will, and he's standing there saying, fresh crack, and he was literally selling crack.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of those experiences. I mean, being in the Army, we typically go to more places that are a little less hospitable, if you will. So yeah, I've never really got to experience.
You ever been on a deployment and had somebody try to say crack?
No, typically they do what they can to unalive me. But, I mean, I guess it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, well, with less crippling addiction.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely been an adventure. I both loved and hated every moment of my time in the military. But I mean, where else? What other things can you do to experience that? Get this experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just one of those things that it's always good to get those new experiences. But as you'll see from kind of one branch to the next, one person to the next, what you're going to end up having is you're going to end up, getting all of these new perspectives, if you will. So, well, let's start kind of with those deployment stories. What do you have? Which one of the foremost in your mind?
Foremost in my mind.
That is appropriate for you. I wonder if you.
Yeah. I got something to comment.
Yeah.
I think I'm unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna just go to probably the coolest story is my second deployment. We were in an opportunity when we were in the basically we were off the coast of Yemen, and we got to do VBSS ops, which is the board computer. So basically, it's where you board another ship like a pirate. And what we were doing was we were checking to make sure that there were no military-aged men leaving the country, like fleeing it, or coming into it to aid in the basically civil war that was going on, that's been going on in Yemen since the beginning of time. And we were also checking for IED making material, right? So there were some shipping containers that we opened up, and there was just a metric ton of propane bottles, which, if you don't know, that's one thing that the Taliban was really big in Afghanistan about using propane tanks with their improvised explosive devices.
Or using propane tanks to make things go boom.
Yeah, or using propane tanks to make things go boom. But that was pretty cool. We got to be like a modern day pirate, if you will.
Yeah, so you too could become a pirate by joining the United States Navy.
Yeah.
Arr.
Arr.
No, it's always things like that too that you get to see, and you talk to somebody, and you really kind of learn what maybe some of your tax dollars are spending or spent on.
Hey, real quick, speaking of tax dollars, thank you, because taxpaying Americans, I got to see the world.
I got to see the world too, but most times it's places that people don't want to see.
10 out of 10 won't vacation to spots.
So thank you for Isaiah's experiences. I truly appreciate those.
Yeah, and also, if you're thinking it, I think he will second this. Kuwait's not a deployment.
True. But what I will say, one cool place that I guess it would be on my list of places I never thought I'd want to go.
Okay.
But Jordan. Jordan was actually amazing. There are so many historical sites there. There's so many things to see.
Did you see Petra?
I did see Petra. I walked the entire thing.
Okay.
By the time...
So Petra's not just the entrance in the rocks?
Oh, no.
That's all I know about Petra.
No, my friend.
Okay.
That day, I think, I had my phone going because I was doing mission work. I had to have a phone. But I had my phone going, and I think even to this day, I have more steps when I was in Petra than I've ever had anywhere else. And keep in mind too, this is a time where I was routinely running 7, 8, 9, 10 miles a day.
Mm.
And Petra just smoked it.
Yeah.
Well, and actually I was so sunburned by the time I got done because it was obviously very hot and very sunny. It needs to be that way. Don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had an absolute blast in Jordan. I learned so much about it. To be honest, I mean, I'm sure I'd heard of the country beforehand, but I really knew nothing about it until I found out I was going there. And the beauty about that is it forces you to really kind of do some research into the country.
Yeah.
And I was completely ignorant to anything about Jordan. I mean, aside from all of the holy sites that are there, which again are absolutely amazing. There's so many cool things there, like Wadi Rum. For anyone who has seen the movie The Martian, you watch that movie and you see how they portray Mars, with the vibrant red and orange colors. Now, a lot of people would think, oh, that has to be like CGI type stuff. Nope. That was actually filmed in Wadi Rum, because those are the views you get there. You get those red, orange rocks, that those vivid colors there.
The cinematography?
Absolutely amazing. And the funny thing is, too, in Amman, Jordan, the capital, there's actually the royal, I forget which, I think it was King Abdullah dad. It's been a couple of years, but
don't quote us. I'm sorry if we offended somebody.
Yeah, so I apologize to the Hashemite Kingdom for not knowing.
Watching this, what creates a multi-national.
Yeah, I mean, hey, King Abdullah, if you're watching this, you're the man. But we went to the Royal Auto Museum, and they have so many cool cars there. But as you're entering, at least the last time I was there, as you're entering the auto museum, what they have there right on display is the Mars rover that they use to, they used in the movie.
Oh, okay. So it's like a way to pay homage to them.
Well, I guess what happened was, as a thank you to the Kingdom of Jordan, the producer, whoever was in charge, they actually gave the Mars rover that they used filming
to the auto museum.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And so, yeah, it is really cool. You get to see that. But again, Jordan is one of those places that I enjoyed so much that I wouldn't hesitate to go back on vacation.
It's funny, your Jordan story and my Jordan story are two completely different stories. I did not enjoy Jordan while I was there, but I was also running in a gas mask and a plate carrier doing litter runs.
Well, I mean, it's probably the only good story I have. Mr. Navy, you don't have a better story. But I mean, no, the culture, everything. Like I said, there are so many different views there.
And if you're new here, our paths actually crossed in Jordan. We found out one midnight shift. We were talking about, kind of what we're doing right now, talking about the flooding story. And he was like, hey, wait a minute. When were you in Jordan? And I told him, I think it was 2016, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And our paths crossed because he was protecting a bigwig, and I was just there being a dumb grunt. And turns out we were probably 40 feet from each other, maybe?
If that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
cool.
Yeah.
The small world.
And, it's almost embarrassing to say, for those who don't know, like, my background, I grew up with both my parents as ministers. So obviously there are religious stories I would hear in church, things I would hear, like, my parents' sermons every Sunday. But it wasn't until I got to Jordan that I realized how many holy sites are there.
Okay.
I mean, you have, on one side, you have Jesus baptism site, on one side you have Jordan, probably 30, 40 feet across the water in Israel.
Well, then also, the Red Sea's in Jordan, right? Yeah, I know it's, what movie parts and stuff like that.
Yeah, so in Jordan, there's the Red Sea and the Dead Sea. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been was Aqaba, which is the only port in Jordan. Crystal clear water, completely clear. One of the things, you can take these glass bottom boat rides. Oh, that actually sounds pretty neat. Yeah, so you're rolling through the water, over the water, and you're just looking down, and you're seeing fish going by, you're seeing just all the way to the bottom. Yeah. But the other cool thing is, over the years, what they've done is they've taken like old military vehicles, tanks, things like that. They drop them in there, and it kind of creates like So you're rolling around, you're seeing fish, and then suddenly tank, and you're like, okay, wasn't expecting that. But yeah, it's a great place. I would not hesitate to go back. I had so many great experiences there. The beautiful thing about Jordan is it's what's the name? It's something like it's the quietest house in a noisy neighborhood is what we call it, or something like that. Okay. Because you have all that instability around there, but Jordan remains one of those places that you can go to. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying not worry at all, but worry less about your personal safety.
Yeah. Speaking of things that have been sunk in there in the ocean, so whenever you do a mew, and as you're coming back home, right? So I was stationed at 71st Marines, which is in Camp Pendleton, California, so I was in the rough place. So we would leave from San Diego Harbor, and then we would go on our deployment. We would come back. The ships we were on were stationed in San Diego Harbor, so that was the home port. So that's where we always began and ended our deployments. But we would always stop. Our last little port would be Hawaii, so that way the head chef, all the higher ups can do what's called left seat, right seat. Mm-hmm. So that way they can get together and they can have a meeting. Hey, here was hostility, here was not, we went here, this happened, and that way basically they can just give a debrief of what they may expect for the people that are leaving, right? But being in the Navy and also World War II probably being my most infatuated part of history. History was always my favorite part in school, and World War II was my favorite part of history. I went and saw the Pearl Harbor Museum, which if you have not had the chance to do that, do it. If you're active duty or a veteran, it's free for you to go. And I think it falls under a national park, so it's free for us to go. But with that, I went and I saw the USS Arizona. Man, you want to talk about just, obviously there are a lot of men that lost their life, December 7th, 1941. But there's something so sad, but yet so beautiful about being there. And it's, every year the Navy sends Navy divers down to assess the oil because she's still leaking oil, right? And I can't remember the exact formula they used and how much oil that she had on when she was bombed, but she's going to keep leaking oil. So I'm 32 years old. If I remember correctly, she's going to be still leaking oil by the time I'm in my 90s, which is amazing because that happened so many years ago and she's still leaking. And the ecosystem has basically thrived around it to where I think she leaks a teaspoon or a tablespoon a minute, an hour, or something like that. But yeah, it's if you ever get the chance to go to Hawaii, and you get the chance to go to the World War II or the Pearl Harbor Museum and see USS Arizona, I recommend you do it.
Yeah, but you kind of opened up I guess a new pathway for us to go down here. Again, I spent a lot of time in the Middle East, again, Iraq, Afghanistan, and people think of those places. And what automatically comes to mind is just those things that have been put in our head from 20 years of war.
Iraq's actually really beautiful.
It is. Like, I maintain this to this day. I've traveled, done a lot of traveling, especially like around the U.S. Some around the world. Usually it's places that people don't really think about going, but to this day, some of the most beautiful sunsets and night skies I've ever seen were in Iraq.
Oh, dude. Okay. So, the caveat on that, some of the most beautiful sunrises, sunsets, and night skies I've seen are in the middle of the ocean. So at nighttime, the Navy ships turn all their white lights off, and then they turn certain red lights on to maintain some sort of operational security, right? Man, with no light pollution, in the middle of the ocean, you can quite literally see the Milky Way in the sky, and it is so beautiful. Something cool too is plankton glows in the dark. So as the ship's going, you can look down over the side of the ship, and you can see these little glow in the dark things that are parting with the waves coming off the boat, and it's plankton glowing in the dark.
Well,
I think it's plankton. I guess I'm wrong.
but that's one of those things. It's kind of like the same thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're in the middle of deserts, and again, for those of you who don't know, Iraq, it's not just like maybe what you see on TV, where it's just this vast nothingness. I mean, there are some just tremendous historical places in Iraq too.
And the Middle East has very beautiful architecture.
Yeah, but you know, if you do find yourself away from a major city in Iraq, again, it's the same kind of thing. You look up and you are just amazed that you have such a view in a place where in that moment wasn't exactly a great place to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, obviously, we want a world where, you know, the United States military, we want a world where, you know, people are getting along. But I'm telling you, like, if Iraq and Afghanistan ever became like truly stable, you know, like most countries that we may know, like, or are familiar with, you know, if it became as stable as like Europe, things like that, as far as like day-to-day government operations, it would, people would just be shocked at what they would see. You know, they have these, you know, these groves, these palm trees. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful, and it's not littered by trash and going boom. And it's the same thing with Afghanistan too. If you ever fly over Afghanistan, you see this beautiful vegetation. You see these, you know, these homes built into the side of the mountain, and like it's just like sectioned off, and it's like gridded down perfectly. And again, it's just amazing. And these homes have been around for years and years and years. But I really, you know, that would be my one wish, is like before my time came, I would be able to like go back there and see things from some of the perspective that I got into that when I was there. Like it, again, so long story short there, don't just think about, you know, things going boom in the night and, you know, tanks rolling through towns and stuff like that in some of these countries, because they are truly, they have a lot of beauty to them. And it's a shame people don't see that. And even aside from the beauty, again, the history that's there, it's amazing.
On my first deployment, we got the chance to go to Malaysia and some of the Malaysians. Dude, I'm telling you what, those are some of the most fierce warriors I think I've ever had a chance to meet. And, you know, they're kind of Asian guys, but man. So, the craziest part I thought about, so the Marine Corps has their own martial arts program, right? It's called the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, or MAP for short, which is actually designed by Chuck Norris, in fact. And there's different tiers of belts you can get, and or you can earn. Anyway, kind of like when you do defensive tactics in law enforcement, we use fake knives, fake guns, or you know, boom guns, or whatever you call them. And but in Malaysia, they train with real blades.
Oh.
And we asked, now they're not stabbing each other with them, right?
I would hope not.
You know, but like they will cut each other. And we asked our commander, why do you do that? He goes, because they get cut in training, maybe they won't get cut in combat. And I was like, holy cow. Yeah. That's crazy, you know?
Well, you know, it wasn't with a foreign military, but it was with a military special operations group that you might be familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
We went and we acted as Op 4 for them, which for those who don't know what Op 4 is, you're basically you're playing the bad guy.
Stands for opposing forces.
Yeah, and we happened to do something with them, to do a training exercise with them, and we were using sim rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And
sim rounds are fake bullets, but
they hurt a little bit.
It's like a little tiny paintball.
Yeah, it's like a paintball.
Yeah.
So typically, in my experiences in the military, we used to use miles gear, which again, not to throw all this group of people, but for those who don't know, miles gear is basically it's like playing laser tag without the cool equipment.
But it makes that sound, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like if you get hit, it beeps, and if it has any lights on there, it'll flash to indicate that you've been hit.
Yeah, or injured.
So typically, the military that I kind of came up with was this was early on during Iraq, Afghanistan too, but the rule was always you get hit, you go down.
Yeah.
When your miles gear goes off, you go down.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're training with this particular group of individuals, and we're using the sim rounds, and we're making contact with them with the sim rounds, but they're not dropping.
Mm-hmm.
They're still running towards us, just completely peppering us with sim rounds. And we're like, hey, bro, what's going on here? I know I got you at least 20 times.
I just magged up in your face.
Yeah. But we asked about that, and the response we got was, here's the deal. These dudes are going out there doing tier 1 operations, and they can't have that mentality of
when I get hit, I go down.
Yeah, they can't build that muscle memory of if I get hit, I go down. So we train like this so they know that they can still move forward if something really happens to them. And I'm like, what's the rest of the military?
Well, we've also seen that in law enforcement. Think of, I'm sure we've all heard some version of this story. I think it was a federal agency back when they used to have wheel guns, revolvers. They would line their casings up. Mm-hmm. And there was a shooting that happened years ago, obviously. Can't remember if it was with a Fed agency or, state, county, community. But anyway, whenever this officer perished in this shooting, he was found, and he had a stack, or all his casings were in a nice line, because that was muscle memory that he had built over time at the range. Now, unsure, and I can't remember if it was taught or if that was some personal thing that he did on his own, but it just goes to show that if you're not going to insult this, man, but if you train a certain way and it ends up being a not so good tactic, that muscle memory is going to take over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, it goes to the importance of not just training, because anyone can train, but it's proper training.
Yeah.
And
I hate to go into this subject talking about, after somebody losing their life, but sorry, I didn't mean blunt here. Complacency kills. That's why you always have to train. You always have to be better, because I remember my staff sergeant always said, whether you're training or not, the enemy's training. Mm-hmm. And they're training twice as hard as you are, because their hate for you is that strong.
Yeah.
It's just like, the bad guy. He may even not be trying to hurt you, but he's definitely trying to get away from you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good point, and it's just something we have to kind of think about. But again, it goes back to, you see so many things, you do so many things, and you gain so many experiences, and those things can be utilized to better yourself, even on the outside.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things.
Yeah. Well, I said it in an earlier session that you're either a asset or a liability, and it's up to you which one you are. that also falls under training. Your training can either be an asset to help you and help you get home, or it can hinder you and it could be a liability for you, your partner, your community, your country. I mean, who knows?
And, you know, the beautiful thing about this is you get a choice.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the choice comes before the actual time to perform. So,
yeah, exactly.
you know, you can choose. And choice isn't just like an active action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, choice is if you choose not to train, if you choose not to do, you know, inaction is also a choice.
Oh yeah. You know, it's what's the saying that you always fall back on your lowest level of training?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing that people don't necessarily realize is training is not necessarily just something that you learn in a classroom setting or something like that. We often do things that we don't necessarily realize. Like our brain reacts in a way that we don't necessarily realize that we were trained, if you will. Mm-hmm. But sometimes that training comes from watching movies, watching TV shows, things like that.
Or nowadays, sorry to cut you off, but I think it needs to be said. There's so many people on social media nowadays. Mm-hmm. You have to be careful who you're watching because they may accidentally teach you the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. And they may be genuine and thinking they're pushing out good content or a good product, but you just got to be careful, and you never know. You know, so like
that's
heavily vet your resources.
So a funny cop story that kind of goes along with that is it's also misrepresentation that you have to be worried about.
Yeah.
So I went on a call. This was years ago. I went on a call. It was kind of a medical call. But anyway, we get there on scene, and this woman keeps throwing out, "I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor," and like completely acting in contrary to what we're trying to do, what we're trying to get accomplished. And so that goes on.
So she was not going along with the mission.
No, she was not going. I mean, she was just making things a whole lot more difficult. And again, she kept trying to interject, and her claim to credibility is, "I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor." So we finally get the situation resolved, and I'm talking to her after the fact, and I look up on her wall, and yes, she was a doctor. She had a doctorate in English literature.
And this was a no crap like, is this a code or?
No, it wasn't quite that, but it was a medical related call. And I looked up at her diploma there.
She was a doctor of words.
Yeah. I looked up at her diploma there, and I looked at her.
No. It was her doctorate.
Yes. I'm sorry, her doctorate.
Yeah.
And I looked at her.
Swine.
And I said, "Is that your only degree?" Because, hey, sometimes doctors will get, additional doctorates.
Yeah.
They're dual programs.
Or just
I've never heard of
basket weeding just to have it.
Yeah, I've never heard of like an MD English literature dual program, but hey, whatever.
MD, PhD?
Yeah. But I said, "Is that your degree? Or your only degree?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, okay. In the future,
lead with that.
If you're going to say, "I'm a doctor," which, hey, she worked for it, cool. If you're going to say "I'm a doctor," make sure it's relevant, make sure it applies.
Yeah.
Because if you are out there trying to give some sort of a medical opinion based off of your doctorate in English literature, things could go very badly.
Yeah. Like if I spill, alphabet soup on the floor, your doctorate would totally be appropriate in that field,
Oh, we just lost some English literature viewers. Sorry.
I mean, it's whatever. But
with that being said, let's kind of wrap up this session.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we kind of started with deployment stories.
Yeah,
we took a history lesson with Frank down with Jordan.
Oh, you haven't got.
You ever thought about being a tour guide, maybe?
you haven't gotten started on my journey in history.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
trust me. But anyway,
Yikes.
again, this is the most like schizophrenic podcast you'll ever find because we're all over the place. But let's see what we have in store for this session safety brief.
Okay. Session 7 safety brief is as follows. Don't fight wildlife. The wildlife is undefeated.
Can't disagree with that.
Yeah. And with that, as always, love you, bye.
Love you, bye.